Great. So welcome to this first Tuesday business coaching with the Liberated Nurse Entrepreneur Company and Program. And this is all about your questions and your challenges and getting coaching. My partner in this, Yeshe, will not be here tonight. So all you have is me. But I'm ready to rock and roll here. And I will continue to let people in. But who wants to go first with the take the first coaching spot?
Well, I have a question, still hung up on that whole opt-in page thing. So,
Okay.
and I'll save like the
Excuse me.
content for another.
Let me pause you and
Yeah.
tell everybody kind of the context before we
Okay.
dive into the
Okay.
question. Okay. Thank you.
So I am trying to expand beyond my warm network, and so part of that process is creating this like email opt-in page. I don't have a way to collect emails yet, or the goal would eventually to be able to send out like newsletters, that kind of thing. And so I did. The platform I signed up for was MailerLite, and um, and so they have these options. And so what I'm trying to understand without having a website, I started creating an embedded page. Uh, and so then you can have the link or whatever. And I have like a draft of like, hey, this is what it is. And then I have my lead magnet. So that's my free resilience toolkit. That's what they can click on to get their free gift. And then, in exchange for the email. So I think like I have something set up, but I'm not quite sure. A, can I make that link look prettier, or do I create another page that goes on? Or and like, am I emailing this? Am I putting? I still don't think I quite understand the
Yeah,
technical part of that.
great question. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, and I think it's got a few mechanics to it. And it is really, if you're able, it's best to be able to be able to do it yourself rather than hire somebody to do it every time you want to make a change. Not everybody's really able to do it though. Some brains just don't wrap themselves around that many mechanics. And it's okay because there are lots of people that'll do it for you. But it's kind of like nested actions. And one little thing, you remember when you're a kid, you probably, Linda Kozel says she's trying to join. Okay, I wonder. Marcia's telling me that. Maybe she doesn't have the right link. Did you send it to her? Thank you, Marcia. It's a little bit confusing because I set it all up with one link and then it disappeared out of Zoom and I had to set up another one. So maybe we'll all get on the same page here at some point. And that reminds me, let me just check my emails just in case somebody else is trying to get in. Okay, nobody. So when we were kids, I don't even know if kids have these things now, but way back in the Stone Age, when I was a kid, we had games that would you would drop a ball in a thing and it would go around and then it would come down and flip a lever and then that would make something else happen. It was a mechanical thing of some kind, but it was for kids and you just start it off and then it does all these things, makes a thing go around and, just causes all these things to happen. Well, that's what this is that you're creating, except it's digital and on a website. So I'm sure there's tutorials in MailerLite that shows you the steps. And it might help you to make some kind of a drawing. You could even make it look like a kid's toy, or something, but just it starts here. They put their name in the email and emailing the box. And then the thing, what do you want to have happen next? So MailerLite has what they call automations, and most of these so there's lots of them. MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber, Infusionsoft. I mean, there's many different ones. They're called CRMs, which is Customer Relationship Management. And MailerLite is a great choice because it's free. You can use quite a while, use it quite a while for free. They have great customer service. I used to use MailerLite when I started this company, and I was very happy with them. I just sort of outgrew and needed some other things. Great. They have top customer service, and it's almost 24 hours a day. They're in Europe, and so somehow they staff it well. Have you found that to be true, Maria?
The person I was messaging to try to clear up which form and pathway to go was really great and helpful. And yeah, and that was the big reason, is that they are available 24-hour online for the free account.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail with this because you can get that detailed help with them. And also I haven't used it in a while. But in general, you do set up the page. They've got a way, I think they even have templates for this opt-in page. You pick one that you like, you put your own words in it and colors. And the opt-in box is pretty easy to just, you can say what you want on the button. You can say submit or something. That's kind of a default, but I think that's a terrible word. I personally don't like to submit to anybody. It's actually better marketing if you have something like, what's the name of your gift?
I put like download here or something on my button.
Good. Download here is a step above submit for sure. And then because it tells them more what to do. And then another step above that is to say, I want my kit.
Resilience.
Yeah,
kit here.
I want my, get your resilience kit here, or you can put it in the first person to them. I want my kit now, or something like that. Kind of depends. The words depend on your style of communication.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great to tell them what they're getting right on the button. And then, so you set that part up. That's sort of the face that the public sees. And then you do the behind the scenes mechanics. And the first one of those is there's a mechanism where you put in your email, you write your email that you want to go automatically to them. And in the email, you have attachment to the gift or a link that they click to get the gift. And the gift can be even a PDF. I often, when I started out, had my PDFs in Google Drive and just took that link for the PDF and put it in the system, the CRM system. And then when they get the email, there's a link there, they click it and the PDF, they go to the PDF. And then once you have that set up, that's pretty simple, really. It's writing an email and putting the link.
So I have that set up.
Okay.
And then I'll show you that at like either the marketing lab or my private coaching thing. But I guess then to clarify is, where am I putting that? Like, how does that page show up for people? Like,
okay,
I see that there's a copy link. You can get the link, then you link on that, and then you see that whole page that I created, and then all the things that happen afterwards.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is that the link I put in my email outreach emails? Or
yeah. Thank you for bringing that back, because I know you said that, but I kind of forgot that detail. That is the link, and there is a way to make it prettier.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different companies that will give you a prettier link. I like to use Bitly. It's bit.ly, and you can get it for free. Of course, anything free on the internet, you can also get more bells and whistles if you pay something. But the free one can take you far, quite a long ways. Bitly will also give you a QR code these days if you prefer to have that. I'm starting to use both because different people like different things. And yeah, I'll show this in the marketing lab next time you come, but you get your Bitly account, and then it has a place where it says make a link, and you click that, and then you put in your source link, which is your raw link from MailerLite, and click, and they'll shorten it. And then you can even customize. The shortened still has, it's not very pretty. It says bit.ly and then it has random numbers and letters, but it's shorter. And so you can usually customize that back half of the randomized letters and numbers and call it resilience or our toolkit or something. A lot of them have been taken, of course, but if you're creative, you can come up with something that's short. And the thing is, most people aren't going to be typing. These days, people don't type web addresses anymore. They click it. Wherever you have it, they click it. And it's kind of nice. If you don't want to go to all that trouble to make a pretty URL, you can put it in your message, whether it's, well, in email, you can put it in your message and then just have it hidden. You can say, click here, and the link is in that, But in Messenger or text or LinkedIn, places like that, you do have to put the link itself.
Okay.
And then they go.
So that's what I'm putting in my email marketing messages to these whoever companies I'm reaching out to.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like wires crossed.
They come together. Good.
I'm almost there. This is
You
good.
are.
Thank you.
You're doing great, Maria. Doing great.
God.
And I'm sure that even though that might be just a little bit ahead of some of the people here on the call, it's not that far ahead. All of you will be ready for that step before long. So who has the next question or challenge they'd like to bring up? Oh, and welcome, Linda. I'm glad you're here. Well, Betsy, would you like to share anything about where you're at? You can pass. There's no pressure. I just think you're doing some interesting things. And so.
Sure. I would love to. Thanks. Let's see. Well, I have I have questions.
Well,
So
dive into your question. Yeah.
no,
Use this time.
no shortage of questions.
Okay. Well, let's use this time.
But I can share where I'm at, and that will frame the questions. So I have finished 8 pilot clients. And and I've started with a 9th pilot client as well. But I'm doing that 9th client like simultaneous. Like I've sold 2 packages. I've sold a 6-pack and a 3-pack. One was a pilot client and one was a different person. So, and the pilot that I've been doing has been it's been a 3-session. I call it rest and relaxation coaching, and it is a structure that I created, and then where there's an assessment, and then I can use some holistic modalities, the coaching framework. So that's like that was the smaller version, and I realized that the 3 actually like stands alone pretty well. So I offered the 3 publicly again, and that's one person has bought this 3-pack, and I've done two of those sessions so far, not pilot client, and then the person who did the 3-pack who bought a 6-pack again is doing just 6 more sessions. So that's what I've got right now for my like public offerings are the rest and relaxation, the 3, and then rest and relaxation with the 6 sessions. And let's see. I have a few questions. So one thing that I went a little off-road and just decided to do, because the context that I'm in is my friend has in the spring opened an integrative health clinic. He and his wife are traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. So it's an integrative clinic, and I've been doing the pilot out of the clinic, and I'm employed. I'm an employee working under under commission as part of the clinic. So I'm getting a percentage of the, every package that I sell, and then I get to use their booking system, everything that comes with the clinic, which has been really nice. And because of the relationship, this feels like a good place to be in. So I feel like I'm getting a lot of the advantages of doing my own, because I'm just very free and autonomous to be planning my services, and can really build it out the way I'm building like a business, but also have that those nice things that come with being part of a bigger practice. So yeah, the one thing I've done, I think one thing I wanted to offer was like one standalone session. And I noticed that a lot of the pilot clients that I saw were interested in just doing like an additional Reiki session, which was something that I had done as a modality in the rest and relaxation coaching. So I did add to my like public offerings, rest and relaxation modality Reiki offering. And just today I had a friend reach out to me and say, hey, do you do like single sessions? And I was like, well, I only have this one thing. And she was like, great, because she wanted to buy a gift for her friend. So I sold my first single session today that I booked for Friday. And that feels good. I know it's not quite as clean as like just having one offering, but I feel like there's some consistency, and I'm feeling pretty good about how that's all like how I'm framing those all as being connected and together,
Yeah.
part of a bigger piece.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And my friend had asked, like, I've done hypnosis in the past as part of coaching, and she was like, dude, I want to do a hypnosis session. And I had a good practice being like, no, I'm not doing that right now. That's not something I'm offering as a like standalone session. This is what I'm offering right now. And it was kind of hard because I wanted to just say yes. So that felt like a good practice. I guess my biggest question right now is just being clear on like what's next as far as particularly as far as marketing. I feel really grateful to have, like at this point I've got like 2 sessions a week. This week is very special. I have 3 sessions. But obviously I would like to have more people booking. And so I'm just wondering about the like EICs, doing the empathic inquiry conversations. I'm wondering about, I'm doing whatever. I have some things going on, so I could blab more about what is going on, but I just kind of wanted to ask the question about like what's next.
Thanks for that. Thanks for the background. I think everybody's interested in how you're all doing. So that's great. And the question, it's great background, because your question of what's next, of course, the answer all depends on what you've done. And so you've done enough pilot tests. You can consider yourself, you can graduate yourself from that phase if you want to. Okay. And that means no more EICs for now either. You're going straight into marketing now. Okay. And I saw your question in the coaching platform, and I did answer it right before this call. So you'll see that when you go back. And when I answered it, I didn't know you had done that many pilot sessions and pilot tests. So good for you. You'll want to evaluate those. So here, before you get too busy in marketing and having lots of clients, be sure you take the time to reflect on your experience in the evaluations, and take that in. But I'd say go right ahead into the next module. And this is a good time for me to tell you all of you about in the incubator, in the current platform we're using, module 4 is the get more clients. That's the marketing module. But when we switch over to the new platform, it's called module 5. And it's the same module. It's just that I'm numbering things differently in the new platform. Because remember how in the current platform, the starter kit is kind of separate course? Well, in the new one, it's part of the incubator. So that gives us 5 modules instead of 4. That's the only difference, really. So go for it, Betsy. You're ready. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Well, I mean, maybe some of it is just like waiting for module. When will we get access to that new platform?
You have it.
Oh.
If you are in the current platform and you click on module 4, I think it has a link to the platform.
It didn't work for me today, at least. So I was thinking it was just still in process.
No,
so
it's ready. And thanks for telling me it didn't work. Maria and Marcia are in it.
Okay.
So I know it just must be having a glitch. I'll take care of that right after this session.
Does she have to complete number 3 before she can get into 4?
I think she has. Have you completed?
No, I mean like physically click on the thing.
Yeah, I haven't done the CE thing yet, so maybe that's what it won't unlock. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
So I'll go ahead and do that. Thanks. And then I guess maybe spoiler, but like is next steps for marketing are there in module 5, now module 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The whole thing is about marketing.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And it goes on and on. You can stay in it for another year if you want to, because there's so much to learn about marketing. You have to pay a monthly fee after September, but it will go and go. So lots to enjoy and learn in marketing. And of course, you have lifetime access to the materials in that module, the Get More Clients materials. Just so everybody knows, all the learning materials, you have lifetime access to, even upgrades that I will make in the future. In terms of the coaching, that will end at the end of September for all of you here. And unless you want to have a subscription that continues. So with this marketing lab, if you want to continue after September, you just get a subscription and then you get to come. And it's 4 labs a month. You can choose what times work for you. And yeah, it's great. And you can drop in and drop out too. It's not like any pressure to keep your subscription. Just have it when it serves you, when you're focused on marketing, and then leave it. No pressure about that. Jan, you have your hand up. You want to go next?
Well, what I want to do is a little more squishy to me. And so we have sleep, people working on sleep, people working on pain, people doing those kinds of things. And mine is more about women who have been putting others first and themselves last. And that's my exemplar. That was a word I hadn't used before. So I was just wondering if any wisdom on how to do something not concrete, I guess, not a concrete offering. Does anybody else working on something like that?
That's a great question. And I want people to answer, but first I want to say something to you, because it might be more concrete than you think, Jan. I don't know if you noticed, but when you said that, everybody here nodded their head. Okay, so we all know women like that. Most of us, we all relate to it ourselves personally too. So it doesn't have to be something that you can count or photograph or is tangible, or or even sleep, where it doesn't have to be that narrow or discrete. It just has to be very recognizable. And you've got that. Okay. Now there's probably going to be other ways that you'll define it as you go, but actually that for now, that's good enough. Okay.
You?
Now I'd love to hear what Marcia and Betsy think about it when they raise their hand and your question. Do you want to repeat your question? Do you remember it?
Well, I need some, I guess, other people's ideas or wisdom on my not as squishy as I think, where I've been women who have been putting others first and themselves last is my exemplar, the person I want to help.
Dan, where are you at in the process? Have you done any of the empathic inquiry conversations yet?
Yes, I have, and that's kind of what I started. That's kind of how I started down this path more than I had in the past. It was a combination of people I've coached in the past, and then people that I had EICs with. That I had one I talked to. It wasn't an EIC. I just talked to the person again, and she thanked me so much for the EIC. She said it was really helpful. Just the EIC was helpful. So.
And so then the question is, now it's really it's clear that you know who you're talking to, and that that there's value in people just speaking with you even in the conversation. And the question is, like, what does the concrete offering look like?
And that's where the concrete is.
Yeah,
it's the hard part for me.
I'll just share quickly. I'm really curious Marcia's experience too, but I will say in the spring I was exactly in the position you are, where I was like, I had people who were looking for more mind, body, spirit balance and looking to be in a greater state of flow, and it was extremely squishy. I knew, like, I knew exactly, I could feel the energy of the exemplar that I wanted to be working with, but it was really hard to make it concrete. And I actually, to a point where I was like, is this even, can I do this? So I really relate to that. One thing, this is just how my brain works, but something that was really helpful for me was I took the notes that I had from the EICs, and actually the most helpful thing I did was I took note cards and I wrote like key points about each of the people in different kind of category. I did like a kind of weird color coding thing where I was going, okay, well, what were they all looking for? I was looking for patterns, and I would take the cards and I would shuffle them around. And I go, okay, well, these 3 people all said this thing. And then these 4 people, and it's still, for a while, it felt like I'm not seeing a through line here. It took a while, but it was like almost like I like meditated with the cards, and with just putting them in different shapes and organizations, all of a sudden it went, oh my gosh, like, wait, they're all looking for this. I could see these patterns. And that was where the rest and relaxation came from, was I remembered the language and the way that people's energy lit up around those particular themes. And that I just kind of knew when I saw it that was one of the things. And then I kind of went backward and looked at how, anyway, that was, I don't know how helpful it is for me to kind of carry on like this, but it was getting creative and really like almost like getting to like really tuning into my results of those EICs on a more intuitive level. And that really turned into something concrete in a way that surprised me. And it took a lot of work, and it was like the work itself was so valuable and clarifying for me. So I just feel like you sound so clear on the person that you're looking for. And it's true, we all kind of like leaned in. So I'd be happy to connect like one-on-one if you ever wanted to, but I just feel a lot of confidence in your process.
I would love that. Marie and I are getting together by phone tomorrow. She offered to, my accountability buddy was not able to continue the process here. And so I put a call out and she answered and said she would meet with me tomorrow. I would love to meet with you, Betsy, if you want to send, my regular Gmail is just Janet letter K Walter, and it's at Gmail. If you want to, I think we have each other's information, don't we?
I don't know. I don't think I've given it out, but you all are welcome to give it to each other. You can use the chat here if you want to.
Okay. That's, yes.
Good.
So,
Jan, would you like to hear anything from Marcia too?
oh, yes.
Okay.
I would appreciate, all of you are ahead of me in the course. I've done coaching before, but developing the business has been a challenge. So I would love to hear, Marcia, anything you have to say.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
So, well, I love Betsy's answer for sure, because that's exactly what kind of came to my head. And that's what I did too with my EIC calls was, I just made columns and I just took, like, for a better description, buzzwords that I heard people, repeating or something similar to that buzzword. And I just kind of kept them in some type of column system until I came up with, they're all talking about having bad sleep because they have racing thoughts and they're all stressed out. I mean, basically that's kind of what it was in a nutshell. So what I hear you saying is that, and you have a lot of people out there that will need you. So women who have been taking care of others instead of themselves, that's like being a female 101. So that's kind of the, if you want to call it like the cushion or the mattress, that's like your base. But then you have to just work it into the top of the pyramid and define it down into one problem or one issue you keep hearing them say, maybe a couple, depending on, whatever you find that you have the most interest in. But also the words like self-care and self-compassion are definitely in there too, because what I experienced is that typically women will have great abilities to care for others, but they're terrible to themselves. Like they lack any level of self-compassion. And it's almost like we have to be taught how to, like, re-taught how to do that and be your own best friend and, talk nice to ourselves and all of those things, which I think that's a huge, huge, huge problem. And I think you're onto something. And I'm hoping that's going to be my next little corner to develop too, is this idea of self-compassion with women, because I hear it with my best friends and like all the time. So there's definitely a need. And I had this past weekend, I had the opportunity to be with a group of 25 women, ages like 15 to probably a little older than me, for a self-care day. And one person presented a yoga session. Another person was there to do just real quick, 5-minute massages. And I'm like, well, I want to do a meditation. So I did a meditation, and that's exactly what I focused on, was this concept of being your own best friend and self-compassion. And I led them in a meditation called Good Morning, I Love You. And if you've never heard of Dr. Shauna Shapiro, she's a really great asset and resource because she talks a lot about self-compassion, especially in women. And that's the name of her book, Good Morning, I Love You.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so you're onto something big. I love it. Yay.
Okay.
You can help us all.
Well, if you all want to pay, I'll put you in. No. No, when I get this developed, I will certainly be happy to share any insights on it. It's just been difficult to put you talked about packages and things like that. I'm not doing very well with that. I did have packages of coaching, whether it was I did financial as well as I went through the transformative nurse coaching program and did that. But it was just numbers of sessions. And now I see such a value in defining exactly where we're headed. So that's where I'm having my doubts or my struggles.
Well, Jan, you're actually doing great. Just don't get ahead of yourself. Stay the one little inch at a time on the path. And it's not time for you to think about packages and things that will come, and you'll be much more ready when that time comes than you are now. So yeah, right now, I think you've got it well enough defined. And as you go through your pilot test, first, when you get all your EICs and look at the patterns, that's going to advance you to another level. And then you do your pilot test, and the process of doing those sessions and listening, to the people you work with, reflecting on what they're going through and so on, that will take your clarity to another level. And it just continues. Like Marcia said, it kind of goes narrower. You're starting a little bit broad, and it'll just gradually, naturally take you to more and more focus, which is more kind of narrow. But don't force it. You're in a good enough, it's well enough defined now that people nod and lean in. That's all you need from the beginning. Okay.
Okay. I think I was thinking of my pilot, and I haven't gotten that far in the and I'm thinking, I've got to have this for my pilot.
Yeah.
I haven't really spent that much time there. So ADD was not identified when I was growing up, but I'm sure I had it. So I always want to go out here.
And that goes with being creative too. So it's all it's a natural part of that too.
Yes.
Okay, so I would Marcia, did you have something?
I was just going to say to Jan, the only other thing I could suggest is when you're listening to people, you probably already have an arsenal of things. You're like, oh, I wish I could do that with her, or this would help this person so much. And so just kind of start defining too, like how it is that you want to approach this concept, whatever it ends up funneling up to be. But in your mind, you have to have a solution, right? So you funnel and get a problem, but then in your head, you at the same time, you kind of need to be thinking, well, what could I do? Or is there a certain breath awareness, or is there, another holistic modality? Like, I don't know your whole background, but so it's kind of not all about them. It's about what you're hearing, but how you want to define your solution to.
Great.
Thank you.
And then that'll help kind of lay out your pilot. And then it might be clear too, like, oh, I only need 3 sessions, or maybe I need 5, or maybe 2, like whatever, because I want to make sure I give these 2 or 3 things to these people, and I'm going to see how that goes. So That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. That reminds me to say, once again, you know, what we're doing here is both listening to the person and then listening to ourselves inside and what's coming up. As we're listening to this person, our natural desire to help them brings things up inside of, ooh, maybe she could benefit from this, or I have this to offer. Don't offer it in the EIC. Don't, you know, you're only going to give one tip for a couple minutes, you know, but jot it down after that EIC. Make notes about what she said and what you felt you might offer, and that will start to come together in your creating your solution. Okay, just like Marcia said. It's tricky to listen in to ourselves inside and to another person in the same concurrently. You know, we're not taught that in most of our life. It's mostly, in my experience, it's been listen to everybody else. And then only, you know, maybe the last 30 years or so, I've also been, okay, listen to inside. But that was about meditation and things where I had to separate myself, turn off the outside and listen to the inside. But there actually is another level where we practice, and I don't do it at all perfectly at all, underline at all. But my practice is to attempt to listen to the outside and listen to the inside and hold and have awareness of both of all of that. Okay. That's part of our evolution, I believe, as humans. We can do that. I would love to hear from Linda. I haven't got to talk to you in a while, Linda. Do you have some questions, challenges, or updates?
Well, I actually gave myself like a week's vacation away from all of it. I was getting so stressed out that I've moved forward. I have. I mean, I'm where, if I hadn't been sick last fall, I'm right now where I would have been 3 months ago, I think. But I'm at the point, I've got the okay from Yeshe to do my EOC calls. But because of I really realized, you know, my focus also is to help women who are struggling and frustrated with self-care and finding balance because they've been so busy doing all this other stuff, they don't have time for themselves or to be happy. And I want to help people get back to being happy so they have time to do things they love. That's me. And I've been retired for 2 years and 4 months and X number of days. Actually, oh yeah, it's been as of the 8th, you know, then it will be exactly 2 years and 5 months. You know, I've been counting, and most of that time I've really been struggling with getting this coaching thing. I really haven't been listening to my inner self and what am I learning? You know, I'm walking the walk. I have a lot of life experience, but I gave myself a total break from this. So I'm at the launching point. I got back in, I gave myself the whole weekend. It was really hard. I wanted to say, well, I need to look at this paper. I need to look at that. I didn't do it. I did not. I went somewhere every day and walked. I took care of me for a change. And a big thing I've learned through this program is how do I take care and help someone else and offer something even though I know it works if I'm not doing it myself. So I had to do what my mom would say, a lot of soul searching, and I've been doing that. So today I have well, Marcia helped me. I had the EOC. I went someplace quiet away from the house and I wrote out the EOC script, but I filled in the blanks, and the EOC leads you step by step how to fill it out. But first you have to do, which I struggled with it, with the 6 P's and the 9 P's and the 3 P's. And I wanted to go out and fix some P's. But I mean, I got through it. It just took time, a lot of time. And poor Yeshe, like, Yeshe, I'm not getting it. And she really was very patient with me, you know, trying to struggle through it when I thought I got it. And then the next time we talk, I'm like, I don't get it. But now I'm filling in the spaces because I have it in my business plan. I have the paragraphs, and today I was cutting and pasting. I actually spent a good amount of time on it. I still have to finish, and then I get to practice my EOC, and then I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll very soon.
Wonderful.
And it's scary, but I don't feel afraid anymore because I really had to find value and take care of myself first. Because I was ready to just chuck the whole thing. It's like, I remember when Maria was in tears last fall. Well, I've been in tears too. It's like, I can't do this. And I worked at this and worked at this and worked at this. And I've been overly hard on myself. And I think, but Sharon, you said let go of the perfectionism. And that is so hard to do when you're a nurse. You've been a nurse for 30 some years, and you know you had to toe the line and do this, this, and this. But I signed up for this. No one forced me to do this. I did this to find value for myself, you know, for my own happiness, my own self-esteem. And, you know, whether I make it or not as a coach, or I would decide to be a coach or not, or an entrepreneur, you know, pureed entrepreneur, I've gained a lot of value in just listening to people in my own life, my own relationships, you know, and conversing with people in general that are not in a hospital or a home care center. It's a whole new world right now being retired. And the more I'm into this, I'm discovering that I went to lunch with a nurse friend who she's semi-retired and working at a reservation in Arizona during the winter years. She's here right now, and we've gone to lunch a couple of times. And I told her what my focus is to help women, you know, who are struggling with that. And she goes, well, what women aren't? She said, sign me up. No, so I'm going to practice with her too. She's already volunteered sometime before she goes back in October, but we'll do it in person. She's a great one. So I'm really glad I'm in the program. It's been hard. I'm not going to graduate, but I'm probably going to continue because I don't want to stop. You know, I'm trusting the process that I'll get there. So we'll see. And I just had a swarm of dragonflies in my yard tonight, which I've never seen in my life. And the spiritual meaning of a swarm of dragonflies means that there is great change. Focus on what's offered now. One dragonfly is amazing, but like they were like 100. And they don't do anything. They're not scary, but it was like, I've never seen this in my life. And I looked it up, what it meant. And it just means they're, you know, great change, great focus, something, trust whatever it is that's coming. So I'm hanging for all the help. And it is confusing. And I go back and forth with it. And I have my ups and downs where I'm like, oh, I can do this. And then something will happen in the house, you know, something will break. Somebody gets sick. I can't work on, oh, the power goes out because lightning hit the transformer in front of the house. I even went away to work on this, and that's what happened. Half of the weekend I lost, you know, the whole 6-hour drive to go somewhere out of here, and a storm hit the transformer in front of the house, blew out the electricity for a whole day. So I had to go out and find something else to do. But you'll get there, and you have so much to offer, Jan. I wish I had everything that you have, your experience and all the stuff that you're doing. It's so amazing.
Wow. Thank you, Linda.
You can do
Thank
this. You can do this. Thank you.
You can do this too, Linda.
Yeah.
I am so glad that you are pacing and not leaving yourself behind to just push something that you think you're supposed to do. Like, that is not living. It is not healthy. It's just, and yet it's really what we're taught in general, and especially in business, don't you think? I see it just rampant in business, and yet I also see people get burned out. We can wind up pushing ourselves and burning ourselves out worse in our own business than we were in the hospital at the bedside and stuff. And so that's just not a good trade, not a good deal.
Yeah, I have no desire to burn myself out, after 30 some years. And really, if it's not fun, why the heck am I doing it? Really, you gotta find the fun in it.
Amen. Yes. Oh, so I congratulate you. I think you're doing a great job with this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Teresa, do you want to share? We have a few minutes left, or do you have a challenge, anything like that you'd like to say?
I think I'll just make it short and sweet. So I did 5 EICs with people who I thought I wanted to serve, and I found out that that's not what I want to do. So that, surprising to me, that's like your best laid plans don't always pan out, which was perfectly fine. But within that, and through some insight, I had to rewrite my business plan this weekend to submit to 2 companies who want to bring nurse coaches into their company. And one of my goals is to create jobs for nurse coaches. And so I think this is just me looking at what I'm doing, that underlying real thing that you want to do, you can't override it. It's like in your DNA or something, like that thing that's in you to bring out to the people you're here to serve. Even when you, in this case, go off track a little bit, it's just a complete no. It was a full stop. No, that's not the right thing to do. So I was grateful for the time spent. I had some lovely conversations. But I think I've known for a very long time who I serve. And I serve nurse coaches who want to take their practice to the next level, but don't necessarily want to be in business by themselves. It could be for themselves, your business for you that creates your income, but you don't have to do it alone. And none of us wants to do it alone, I don't think. I haven't met anybody who wants to do this alone. And so part of my dream, part of my goal is to build this place for nurse coaches to really get accurate, cutting edge information, build rapport, ask questions, connect with each other, and truly create, whoever resonates, create a friendship outside of your business, outside of nursing, that's a real human being who you can count on to be in your corner, who understands where you've been. So that's what I learned from doing my EICs. And it was fun. So thank you for listening. And I'm grateful for Sharon and for all of you, because every time I hear you guys speak, I'm like, I didn't do that yet. Hold on, did I miss a part? So I'm still I haven't gone through the entire program because I feel like I've dropped in kind of in the middle, have already done some stuff. And this morning in my meditation and prayer, I'm finding my faith again and knowing like this internal wisdom is here for me too. And in my mind's eye, I could see all the puzzle pieces and I could see where my gaps are. And so now filling in the gaps has become my next steps. So that's been kind of nice to finally see that, because I've struggled with that a little bit. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And I want to just let everybody else know that Teresa's had a business for a number of years. She's already in stage 2 in many ways, but she didn't get all the pieces in stage 1. So she's, like she said, she has a lot of pieces, but there's some gaps. And so she's here to pick those up. And then she's here to participate as one of the coaches in our program. So really, it's really exciting for me to hear all of you with where you're at. Look at how rich it is with each. So we have so much diversity of experience and interest. You know, you're interested in different things, and yet this is all nursing. All of us are. Our desire is to help people be holistically their best and be whole and have well-being, right? And look how many different ways we can go at that and serve that. And it's probably pretty much infinite. Just like the snowflakes are all different, we can all show up and do it in our own unique, different way. It's just fascinating. We have a few more minutes. Marcia, I don't know if you got a chance to share a challenge. You and I have been working quite a bit on some of your marketing materials. Would you like to say just a little, have any questions for this last little bit, or say anything?
I don't know if I have a specific question. I think you've been helping me quite a bit on this, in the module 4. So I'm just going to say that I officially filed a business name, which was for some reason very hard for me to like take that leap, but I did it anyways. So in my brain, I needed to get that done so I can then say, here I am. I have this is me, and this is my thing that I'm promoting, and this is what I offer. So in my head, that made sense. So that's why I did it. I really haven't been coaching since I finished my pilot people. So I feel a little rusty on that, I guess, which is a challenge. And I don't know if this happens to the rest of you, but I always think of 100 things I could have said to someone after the fact. You know, it's like, oh, why didn't I say it that way? Or why didn't I ask that question? So I feel like I have some negative self-talk about that to myself. And I'm trying to be kinder and gentler with that learning process. And so I decided I'm going to take myself to a very small health fair this weekend and set up a table with all my new little business name stuff and see if anybody signs up or listens to me or talks to me. So it's kind of nerve-wracking, but I feel like I'm ready to get out there and try to communicate efficiently with people about what I do. And, you know, I've rewritten my 3 Ps and all the different conversational things that you'll find in this next module, module 4. So hopefully they'll be at the tip of my tongue. And if anybody wants to talk about sleep or stress reduction, I'll be ready.
It's great, Marcia. You are ready. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah, you are. It's great. Well, our time is up. I do want to go back to Linda for just a second and say, Linda, I want to invite you to celebrate in our next incubator call, right along with everybody else, that, you know, graduation, you can look at it many different ways. You can look at it on the outside, that, okay, you completed certain number of courses. You know, we get that model from the academic world, right? But in this place, in the Liberated Nurse Entrepreneur, we want to celebrate our accomplishments, and we can graduate right where we're at. Like, so up to you, but I want to tell you, you are wholeheartedly welcome and invited to graduate this month with everybody that's finished their coursework. Well, actually, nobody's finished it completely. Everybody's in some form of incomplete. Okay, so I should tell you that you are. It is. And the other thing is, being complete in business is a complete fairy tale. Nobody is complete in business. We are always a work in progress. So, you know, my invitation, which I'll send out to everybody as an email soon, is to bring celebration props to our next Zoom in the incubator so that we can celebrate how far we've come and graduate to our next level, whatever that level is. Okay. Okay. And you know, honestly, I pointed it to Linda, but it's for everybody. We're all at different levels, right? Every single student is at a different level. So, okay, it's always a joy to be here with you all. And we'll wrap up for tonight. Thank you for being here. Yes. Yes. I'll see you soon again.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.